Okay, since Malachi is currently cashing in a debt with Patrick, I'll need you both to mark each other's factions on your character sheets. So Malachi mark Knight, Patrick mark Power.
Also worth mentioning here that Knight is the last faction I have to mark, so I'm actually advancing here too.
The first level up of the game.
Awesome. So in that case, you get to mark one of your advances on your playbook.
All right.
You two meet in the coffee shop.
No, not in the coffee shop. In coffee shop.
In coffee shop, yes.
There you go. So Patrick, by now I'm sure you've heard Cyrus Cole has passed.
Why? Terrible tragedy that.
I've been doing some investigating. I have leads, but no meaningful way to follow any of them. I hate to presume, but as a Spectre, I was wondering if you might be able to help me with this investigation.
Well, of course, I'm always happy to lend a hand.
Might be best if we go to Cyrus Cole's residence, see what we can find there. I don't know if you can commune with other dead folks or not.
Oh, it's a very, very complicated process. I won't bother explaining it to you, but it can be done.
Okay, so the two of you set your plan in motion and head out towards Cyrus Cole's Hollywood estate.
Spoiler alert, it's burned to the ground.
Yes, it very much is. As you arrive at the address, however, you quickly discover to your surprise that you're not the first one here. Standing at the front gates of Cyrus Cole's estate, you see a woman. She appears to be in her early 40s and is dressed head to toe in black funeral attire with a veil covering her face.
Oh no.
In her right hand, you see that she's holding a single rose. She is currently just standing at the front of the gate looking inwards towards the burnt wreckage of the mansion, standing relatively motionless. What do you do?
Good morning to you!
Can I help either of you?
I'm here to investigate a death. Malachi Abrams, private investigator. This is my associate, Patrick Flaherty.
Nice to meet you.
Sophia Torero.
I can't say I can offer much for your investigation, but at the very least, I certainly won't get in the way.
If you don't mind me asking, Mr. Torero, how were you associated with Mr. Cole?
Well, to make a long story short, I believe that 15 years ago, Cyrus Cole murdered my brother Hector.
Oh, shit.
Your brother is Hector Corazon?
That was his stage name, yes. However, I knew him as Hector Delgado Torero. And yes, he was my twin brother.
Oh,
Nice.
you're the twin sister of Hector Corazon!
As for why I'm here, I heard about the fire and decided I needed to see the aftermath for myself. I suppose I wanted confirmation that that bastard Cole truly was dead.
I see.
Did you kill Cyrus Cole?
You'll have to forgive my associate. He is not, in fact, a private investigator.
I'm trying to do a good cop, bad cop thing.
No, I did not kill Cyrus Cole, although I would like to shake the hand of whoever did.
Oh, I believe her.
Okay, remember that you can roll to figure someone out at any time.
Nope, I believe her. I will roll, but I don't think it's going to be good. Oh, it's a 7. Okay.
Okay, so you get 2 questions on her and she gets 1 on you. I think I'm actually going to have her ask you her question first.
Try to figure me out. I am an enigma wrapped in a riddle.
So if it's your friend here who's the detective, then what has brought you here today? Is this some sort of Sherlock Holmes and Watson routine where he does the detective work while you just blurt out idiotic phrases?
No, he's a friend and I owed him a favor.
Okay, so you can ask Sophia any 2 questions from the list.
I'm gonna ask, what does your character worry might happen? So if you're so worried about making sure he's dead, what's the alternative that's got your heart crossways there?
Well, I suppose my concern would be if Cyrus Cole were still alive and this whole thing were some sort of hoax. However, it appears as though Cyrus Cole truly is deceased, and I can finally rest easy knowing that my brother has received the justice that he's deserved for the last 15 years.
Everything else seems pretty self-explanatory. As this is there any way we can get in contact with you again if we need more information down the line?
She takes out a handkerchief and begins writing something down on it. I can give you my home phone number. If there's anything else you need from me for your investigation, I'll be happy to oblige. And don't worry, I know how these things go. You won't have to worry about me trying to leave town. And she hands her phone number off to Malachi.
They better not hand it to me. I'm not physical at the moment.
Mr. Arrow, what makes you believe Mr. Cole killed your brother?
Cyrus and Hector actually worked together for many years. Cyrus was the producer on the last film that my brother ever made. Of course, the film itself was marred with creative differences between the two, which leads me to believe that Cyrus was the one who burned down the screening room and killed Hector in retaliation.
One last question before we part. What's the movie your brother was working on? Swashbuckler of San Jose?
That was the title, yes.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Arrow.
My pleasure. Best of luck with the investigation, Mr. Abrams. Now then, if you excuse me, I have my own business to attend to. And with that, she departs, leaving you and Patrick alone at the entrance to Cyrus's mansion property.
Shall we, Patrick?
That was the sister of Hector Corazon!
Is Patrick just totally starstruck right
Oh,
now?
Patrick's a big movie fan, so absolutely he's gonna love Hector Corazon. You didn't tell me Hector Corazon was haunting the studio.
I figured you already owed me a debt. I wouldn't you should owe me another.
You clever bastard.
Just saving you the trouble.
Okay, not to hurry things along, but the front gate is currently unlocked, so you make your way through to Cyrus's mansion, or what remains of it. What's your investigation look like? How do you want to do this?
First, I'm going to let it out.
All right, let it all out. Roll 2d6 plus spirit.
12!
Ooh.
Holy shit. Okay.
It was so impressive, we all turned Irish for a second.
I actually got a good roll. I'm so happy.
So you do not mark corruption, and you get to choose 2 from the list.
I can choose 1 and not mark corruption, or I can choose 2 and mark corruption.
Oh,
Yeah, ignore the
or
corruption
choose.
or choose another
I thought
from
that
the
was
list.
and choose. My mistake.
I definitely want to take the +1 forward. I think I might just take the +1 forward and ignore corruption.
So that readies you up for your next roll. How do you go about investigating? What's your approach?
I was thinking of investigating a place of power. I figured that would be psychometry is based on investigating an interesting object. So I'm imagining that investigating a place of power would be a sort of low-level extension of my psychometry.
Okay, I can dig it. Roll 2d6 plus mortality.
+1.
+1.
Might be able to get another +1 if someone was willing to lend a hand.
I'll lend a hand. What do I need to roll?
Roll 2d6 plus power.
Oh, that's a 6.
Do you still want to investigate?
Oh, of course. I still have the +1. 7!
So on a hit, you see below the surface to the reality underneath. And I think in this case, that is going to be very literal, as you poke through the rubble, and you find something that catches your attention. It's a trilby hat. Slightly singed by the fire, and slightly marred with soot. But it is definitely a trilby, and it's quite familiar looking, actually.
I think I've met the owner of this trilby.
Oh, you don't say.
I'd like to use psychometry if I may.
Roll with spirit.
I will. Here I go. I succeed partially with a 7.
So you get to ask one question.
Ooh, what color is my underwear? Wait.
One question from the list.
What is the history of this object?
Okay, let's see. How do we make this work? I'm gonna say that through your psychic abilities, you can sort of like parse, at the very least, an impression of every person who sort of had this hat in their possession at some point, and through that, you're able to trace it back to its source and discover that this hat was actually created directly in the Bulkhead Studios wardrobe department.
Patrick,
I
suspect we're dealing with another specter. We already determined that this trilby matches the one that Sterling White wears.
It's from the
his
studio's
role.
costume department.
We certainly have cause to believe that he has something to do with all of this, whether or not he actually burned the house down or not. Patrick, what do you think?
I think we should check out the studio.
Then let's go head to Bulkhead Studios.
To the Malachi Mobile!
Okay, so you two pile into Malachi's crappy car and head back over to Bulkhead Studios. As you arrive, you see standing just right outside the entrance to the studio is Abby. She currently has a lit cigarette in her hand, but as soon as she sees you, she quickly drops it on the ground and stomps it out, looking a little bit embarrassed. Oh, Mr. Abrams, you're back. Any new leads so far?
Wait. Before we get out of the car, I want to lean into Malachi and says, like, so how do you want me to go in with you? You want me to go in as a ghost, or you want to pass myself off as a human man?
I mean, I'll leave it up to your discretion.
So I'm gonna manifest, but I'm gonna mark corruption to go all three, so I can be seen, heard, and touched.
Wait, hold on. Why did you say seen and heard normally, and then you said touched?
Malachi, I'm gonna level with you. The accent is just an affectation. I can talk normally.
People didn't believe me when I said it was Irish, so I gotta play it up.
But yeah, so I'm passing myself off as a normal person right now.
We need to go talk to we need to talk to somebody here. Whether it's a costume department or Smithy or Mr. White.
Well, I reckon Sterling's with a lady friend right now, but if you wanted to go talk to someone in wardrobe, I could lead the way. How urgent is it that you need to talk to someone right now?
We don't know yet.
Alright. Copy that, I guess. And with that, Kato leads you both past security and into the same studio space that Malachi you recognized from yesterday. As you step inside, you see the set itself is largely unchanged. There's just like a few grips rearranging the lights around it and stuff like that, but what really catches your eye is what's happening over by the craft service table, where you see Sterling White, dressed in the same outfit as before, currently having a very lively conversation with none other than your mutual acquaintance, Kato.
Oh, fuck me.
Kato,
Yes?
I think you notice Malachi and Patrick enter as well.
Fuck.
What do you do?
I kind of just turn my back to them, hoping that they don't immediately recognize me, because I'm trying very hard not to blow my cover.
From across the room, I do the Invasion of the Body Snatchers thing where I point at her. I'm like,
You fucker, that definitely gives me away. Shut up!
Oh, it's Kato. What do you know? Anyway, here to talk to Sterling.
Oh, yes. If it isn't my friend the detective. What can I help you with today?
I was wondering. Hi, Kato. I was wondering if.
Wait a second. Do you two know each other?
No, we don't.
But he just said your name.
That's a lucky guess.
I drink at her bar.
I don't believe that for a shit. I've never seen this man in my life.
Kato, roll 2 mislead distractor trick.
Okay. Ooh, 6. Damn it.
Ooh. I don't understand how any of this matters.
You know what? I think you two do know each other.
Hey, Malachi.
Amazing. What an incredible coincidence.
I was wondering more of a question about the business. How many costumes do you have?
Well, since I began wearing this ensemble full-time as part of my method acting, the wardrobe designers have had the foresight to create several duplications of my original outfit, in case any items happen to be lost or damaged while I'm out on the beat, as it were. But now you've got me curious, Detective. In what way is this relevant to your case?
we'll be the ones asking the questions here, White. Did I help? Is that helpful?
Patrick, shut up.
Oh,
Shut up.
You know him too.
It's a long story, okay?
Well, I suppose the only other question I have for you is, why did I find your trilby at the remains of Cyrus Cole's manor?
You found my trilby.
I produced the burnt trilby from my trench coat.
Well, I'll be damned. It really is a dead ringer. So, tell me, Detective, am I to understand that this is what's supposed to be known as a Eureka moment? Malachi, I'd like you to roll to figure someone out.
Sure. 10! 2 questions, and they have to answer.
Okay.
And if they're in my faction, or if I'm in their faction, I can ask an additional question.
He is not a member of your faction, I can tell you that much.
That's right. What's your beef with Cyrus Cole?
Cyrus was a good friend and colleague of mine. Of course, we certainly weren't without our creative disagreements. For starters, I know from Alan Smithy that Cyrus had intended to recast the role that I'm playing in this film for a different actor, which, of course, I took umbrage with. However, it was Smithy who was the most vocally adamant against the change due to not wanting the producer to meddle with his vision.
I do want you to understand, Mr. White, I'm not here suspecting you of killing Mr. Cole. Even if I was, that's not why I'm here in the first place. I am here to investigate a haunting. Do you have any idea why the ghost of Hector Corazon may have been haunting the studio?
Well, I suppose it's no secret that Hector did pass away in this very studio. It stands to reason that a few excitable production assistants may have started a rumor in order to gain publicity, but personally I find the whole thing to be quite disrespectful towards Hector's memory. The man was one of my closest and oldest friends in the world of acting, and to have his illustrious legacy soiled by a ghost story is certainly nothing short of sickening.
Did you work on the Swashbuckler of San Jose?
I was originally considered for the leading role before it was passed on to Hector. Truly, what befell him was a cruel twist of fate indeed. Perhaps if I had secured the role after all, then it would have been me instead of him. It's something that keeps me up at night. Now, Detective, if you're quite finished dredging up painful memories of mine, I happen to be late for a meeting with my director.
Thank you for your time, Mr. White. Patrick, shall we to the costume department?
Alright, let's do it.
And Cato Sterling turns to you and says, "Well, my dear, I'm afraid this is where the tour comes to an end. Perhaps I'll see you again at the premiere?"
Oh, aren't you a dear?
And with that, I'm off.
So I'm gonna ask Patrick, would you mind tailing him?
Oh, I'm gonna tail him.
Thank you, Patrick.
I'm also gonna like take the hat and like kind of fan it, like in a sense of like, ooh, like I'm in the presence of famous people.
I'm coming down with the vapors.
Yeah. So, but what I'm actually doing is that I'm trying to get a whiff of like the burn to see if it's still the same brimstone smell that I got from the first time I was at the house.
Okay, yeah, I won't even make you roll for that. It's very much the exact same smell as the one that you got the first time.
Okay. Cool. So now I go and rejoin Malachi, and I notice that Patrick's not there.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna manifest. I'm gonna go just touched, not seen or heard, which is another corruption, and now I'm corrupt.
Well, shit.
Wait, as in like you maxed out your corruption track?
I was bound and determined to make it happen. Since I'm not gonna get to like pick a move at the end of the session, can I just like I know which one I want? Can I just like bust it out at a narratively appropriate moment?
I mean, yeah, if you already know what corruption move you want to take.
Oh, I know exactly which one I want. Don't worry.
Ooh, ominous. Marlo, you're currently back at your sanctum, I imagine?
Back at the police.
What have you been up to since the incident with the werewolves?
Probably catching some sleep finally. I've had like a nap in the past like 3 days. I'm old. I don't have time to be running around and adventuring and shit like you youngins.
Let me ask you something about your sanctum.
Yes.
Like it's hard to get into, but are there any wards or anything preventing someone from just like coming up and just knocking on the door?
Just from knocking on the door? There's nothing against knocking on the door. There are magical wards though, so.
Okay, in that case, you are roused from your restful slumber as you hear the sound of someone hammering on your front door. And from outside, you hear sort of a muffled, "Hey, wizard guy! Wizard dude, you in here? Come on, it's an emergency!" What do you do?
I'm gonna channel.
Hey, 7. That's pretty good.
What is it, 3?
Do you get an extra one from your focus, or?
I do, so it'll be 3. Oh, no, wait. No, I do have to. It's either the -1 ongoing until the rest, suffer 1 harm, or mark corruption. I'm just gonna mark corruption for that, I think.
You can tell we're getting real close to the end because everyone's suddenly really trigger happy with their corruption moves.
Yeah, I probably won't become corrupt.
Corrupt me, Captain.
So I'm going to use 1 to teleport outside, but not right in front of him, just kind of around the corner, because I don't know who it is. I just want to make sure I see them before they see me.
Fair enough. Would you like to roll to put a name to a face?
Oh, right, that is a thing I can do. Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah,
So roll 2d6 plus wild, and also mark wild if you haven't already.
I have not, but that's full marking of factions.
Hey!
Ooh.
Level up.
What?
Yeah, so like Adam and Kellen, you can choose your advance immediately if you want to.
Well, I'll put a face to a name first. Let's see. It's a 6.
Okay, you don't know his name,
but you remember him as being the guy that was with Patrick when they appeared at the warehouse.
Oh, it's that guy.
And as you round the corner, he turns and sees you. Oh, wizard guy, there you are. Marlowe, right?
Keep it down, yes. What do you want?
As you get a closer look at him, you realize that it looks like he's been roughed up recently. His jacket is torn and disheveled, and he has these deep gashes, almost like claw marks on his face and arms. Okay, listen, man, we need to hurry because we are in some serious shit right now.
Why? What's going on? What happened?
It's the strays, man. They must have got my scent when I was at the warehouse. Last night I got jumped by one of Alpha's lieutenants. He took the orb and made me spill my guts. Figuratively and also almost literally. Now the strays have got Pat's house and the hospital on lockdown until you and Pat both turn yourselves in.
Do you know where Pat went?
I think he said something about going to help a detective. I don't know, man. You're a wizard. Can't you just, like, magic up a way to find him somehow?
As it happens. Out of character, actually, I am taking, that's one of my things that level up, is I'm taking 3 more spells. One of those is tracking. So I will actually be able to track.
Oh, shit, that's convenient. I'm not forcing your hand, am I?
I was looking at all the improvements before, and I was like, I might as well just take more spells and see if I can do more stuff. It'll be 3 more spells. It'll be tracking, I think, elementalism, and I think shielding. It's all more combat stuff now.
It sounds pretty good.
I have those things now. So, yes, as it happens. Do you have anything that I need something of Pat's? Do you have something of his?
Does that have to be, like, his DNA? Or does that just have to be like a belonging of his?
It could be a personal object, but I had a slightly different idea. Since he's going to see the detective, and I'm assuming I know who that detective is. He's a good friend of mine. We all know each other. So I know who the detective is, and I keep shit on me so that I can, or around, I'm assuming. You know, it's all, you never know when you're going to need a lock of a close friend's hair, you know?
You know, if this were coming from any other character, I'd call it a deus ex machina. But considering Marlowe is sort of built around paranoia and careful planning and everything, this sounds right up his alley. I will, however, ask you to roll with Spirit to check your sanctum and make sure that you have the ingredients you need to track either Malachi or Patrick.
Shit, if only I had more corruption.
Quick, make a deal with someone dark and powerful.
11.
Ooh.
Bangin'. So a 10 plus means that you've got...
Just the thing.
Yeah, exactly what you're looking for. So a possession of either Patrick's or Malachi's.
I've got a little bit of a ghost hair. Or
Got
some...
the comic I grew up with.
Yeah, exactly.
So now for the tracking spell, you don't have to roll anything for that, right?
No, I just spend a hold.
Okay, perfect. What does it look like when you use it, do you think?
I don't know, I just made it up, so...
Okay.
So from a quick, nondescript ritual from within your sanctum, you're able to determine that Patrick and Malachi are currently at Bulkhead Studios.
I know where he is. Let's go. Do you have a car?
I had a moped, which I kind of left at the docks. Taxi!
Oh.
To the Marlowe mobile.
Patrick,
Aye.
you decided to tail Sterling, right?
I'm completely invisible. Totally undetectable.
Okay, so you follow him down to the director's office and see him sit down at the desk opposite to Smithy.
I listen.
Okay. You notice that Alan Smithy is holding a script in his hand, and as Sterling sits down, he says, "Okay, listen, Sterling, you're a great guy, you're a great actor, but I need to address an elephant in the room right now. I understand that it's customary to throw in an ad-lib here and there wherever you think it would fit, but the problem is, you seem to be going off the script in a different way in just about every take, and it's kind of a nightmare for continuity, so I guess I wouldn't exactly be doing my due diligence as director if I didn't ask this, but you have actually read the script, right?" "Why, yes, Alan, I did indeed read the script. However, this is not a problem of simple memorization. You see, my issue lies with the fact that it feels as though some of these lines just don't quite fit my character. Hence why I see it necessary to put my own personal spin on the dialogue, as it were. Well, maybe, Sterling, when you are done with this movie, you can write your own script and star in that. But for now, you're on my set, and you're expected to read my lines. Are we clear? Mr. Smithy, I mean no offense. I'm simply trying to provide the best possible performance that I can offer. After all, a film is only as good as its lead, wouldn't you agree?" And Alan kind of pinches the bridge of his nose and says, You know, Sterling, I do agree. But also, I'm starting to think that maybe Cyrus had the right idea after all. I'm starting to wonder if maybe fighting to keep you on this film was a mistake. I'm not sure if you noticed, Sterling, but we're in Hollywood. I can call in any dipshit off the street with a jawline and basic reading skills, and they'd be happy to take your job. So, unless you want to go back to being a stagehand, I suggest you start taking this seriously. And with that, Sterling stands up and leans forward with his hands resting on the desk so that his face is only a few inches away from Alan's, and he says, Mr. Smithy, I'm not sure if you realize who you're speaking to right now. Now you listen here, you vainglorious parasite. I have worked tirelessly to secure my place here and sacrificed far too much to let anyone take it away from me. Lest of all some simpering little pissant who thinks that he can intimidate me with idle threats. The things I've done, and the things I am willing to do are so far beyond your puny comprehension that you could not possibly begin to fathom just how out of your depth you are. So unless you wish to incur the same fate as Cyrus Cole, it would behoove you to remember who is truly in charge here. Mr. Director. Now have I made myself clear? And Alan just kind of shrinks back in his chair and goes, Yep, good talk. And Patrick, you begin to hear a sizzling sound as you look down and realize that where Sterling's hands are pressed against the desk, you see smoke is beginning to curl around his fingers.
Oh, fuck.
And with that, Sterling takes his hands off the desk and says, I'm glad we could reach an understanding, Mr. Smithy. And now, well, you know what they say. The show must go on. And he leaves the office, and Patrick, as he does so, you look back at the desk and realize that there are now 2 blackened handprints still smoldering on the surface of the table. And as soon as he leaves, Smithy kind of just, collapses in his chair and immediately starts, rifling through his drawer and takes out a large bottle of whiskey and begins just, shakily pouring himself a glass. What do you do? I'm
going to manifest so that I can touch and be heard but not seen. And then I'm gonna whisper in his ear, Alan.
What?
Yeah, I'm the ghost of Cyrus Cole.
Wait a minute. Cyrus Cole wasn't Irish.
In my head, I'm thinking, oh, fuck, I gotta do an American accent. Yeah, Lynn, I am the ghost of Cyrus Cole.
Why does he sound like Coach Z now?
Get some old pod down your pants and climb that rope. Alan, what are you doing in my office?
Roll to mislead, distract, or trick.
Okay. I get a bonus on distracting, but I guess this isn't distracting.
Ooh.
That's a big ol' 6. Okay. Alan leans back in his chair and goes, well, I guess this cinches it. I have officially gone insane.
All right, you caught me. I'm not Cyrus Cole.
Okay, well, you better not say that you're the ghost of Hector Corazon either, because there's only so much I can process in one day.
Oh, no. I am a ghost, though, for as much as that counts for.
All right. Starting to think I need another drink.
I'm gonna take the bottle away from him and be like, oh, trust me, mate, doesn't end well.
Since you're invisible, he just sees the bottle start to float in the air and jumps back like, okay. So the studio really is haunted. Good to know. Can you maybe explain what the fuck is going on right now?
How about you tell me what the fuck just happened? Why is there burnt handprints on the desk?
I don't know. You're a ghost. Shouldn't you be telling me?
I'm a ghost and that's not normal.
At this point, Alan's just freaking out. Like, oh, this isn't happening. This isn't really happening right now. Oh my god. Okay, please just tell me what you want and leave me alone.
I want to know who killed Cyrus Cole.
The fuck am I supposed to know?
I figured you'd know something. You're being maddeningly unhopeful.
I don't know what's going on.
I'm not fucking with you, mate. Is there anything you can tell me that you're hiding? Do you know anything about this at all?
I just wanted to make a movie.
Oh, they're there.
That was supposed to be my magnum
Okay, let it
opus.
out. Let it out, big boy. Oh, I know, it's hard.
There's ghosts and guys, what do I do? I want to go back.
Okay, come on. Draw your tears, big guy.
Introduce your script.
Okay. Now I think I've got that out of my system. I don't know who or what you are, or if you're even real, or if any of this is even real, or if I just had some expired meatloaf before bed, and this is all just a food poisoning-induced fever dream. But if you would kindly get the fuck out of my office, I would greatly appreciate it.
Sorry, no can do. I need you to come with me for a little bit, and I'm gonna possess him.
Wow. Okay. Please tell me that's another corruption.
Do you have to roll for that?
Yes.
No, I just have to mark corruption, and I can only possess someone who's weak-minded.
You know what? That's fair. I think Smithy definitely fits the bill for that. Go ahead and mark corruption.
All right, I am now occupying the body of Alan Smithy.
And it is incredibly underwhelming. He does not work out. Kato, are you still hanging around near Malachi, or are you somewhere else right now?
I'm just snooping. I'm literally poking my head into rooms. I'm trying to find more brimstone traces, if any.
Okay, well, fortunately, at this point in the day, production has more or less begun to wrap, so most of the cast and crew is already on their way out. And so, as a result, you're able to sort of go more or less unnoticed as you snoop around the hallways of the studio. As you're poking around the hallways, you come across an open set of double doors leading into what appears to be sort of like a mid-sized auditorium. If you were to look inside, you'd see several rows of seats all facing towards a projector screen along one wall. And at the other end of the room is a film projector, currently resting under a inch-thick layer of dust. What do you do?
Let's play it.
Okay. You step into the room and begin to approach the projector, when all of a sudden, as soon as you get within about 6 feet of the machine, it whirls to life on its own, as a light begins to shine from the projector lens and illuminate the screen on the opposite side. You watch as the screen begins to display black and white footage of a young man dressed in an outfit reminiscent of a musketeer. He is currently engaged in a sword fight with 2 other men on the screen, featuring a number of impressive and acrobatic moves, as he seems to effortlessly outmaneuver both of them at once. All the while, the film seems to contain no sound or even a backing music track, the gentle hum of the projector providing the only ambient sound within the whole room. You watch as the projection abruptly shifts from this scene to another, this time depicting the young man riding on horseback across a desert. Then, just as abruptly, it cycles again, this time depicting the man swinging from a chandelier. The film continues to cycle this way a few more times before finally resting on a close-up of the young man as he looks towards the camera and smiles. And then, without warning, an orange bloom suddenly consumes the center of the screen as the film stock bubbles and boils away, causing the projection to end. As the whirring of the projector comes to a halt, you hear a new sound, this time coming from a few rows of seats in front of you. While you can't see anyone else in the room, it almost sounds as though someone in the front row is clapping. What do you do?
I approach the seats. Cautiously, obviously. Wait, are the lights on in this situation?
They're currently off.
Oh, yeah, then definitely cautiously. Oh, wait, and I also call out, hello, anybody there?
There's no response, and the clapping suddenly stops.
Okay. But I still cautiously approach the seats, but I kind of reach for, like, my back as if I'm going to scratch it, but I'm actually reaching for my concealed Colt, just in case.
As you approach the source of where the sound had been coming from, you see that the seats are indeed empty. However, from the hallway outside, you suddenly start to hear the sound of footsteps approaching, as it suddenly dawns on you that the screening room that you're in right now is most likely a restricted area, and if you're caught by the studio security, there's a significant chance of blowing your cover.
Fuck.
This seems like a good time to check on Marlowe.
Damn it! Jack! You cock tease.
You and Dako arrive at the outer sort of perimeter of Bulkhead Studios. Okay, so they're not going to let anyone inside without proper clearance. What I'm thinking is, you teleport inside, and meanwhile I'll just sneak around the outside and see if I can find some other way in. How's that sound?
Better than anything I can think of right now.
Okay, great. And he runs off. What do you do?
Is this still the same scene? I still have my channels from the holds?
This is a new scene, so you'll have to roll for your channeling again.
I will be doing that. 11. 4 holds, using one of those immediately.
You are flying.
Well, teleporting.
Please teleport to my rescue.
Yeah, I don't know where anybody is. I've never been here inside this place before, so.
Is your tracking spell still, like, active right now, or?
The tracking is, like, you learn the location of a person, so I know where he was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I know he's in here, but yeah, I don't know where he is.
Okay, I'll say that the trail runs cold somewhere around the main production office, so you teleport somewhere near there, inconspicuously. Fortunately, like I said, it's the end of the day. Most of the cast and crew have gone home by now, so not as many prying eyes as there'd usually be. After teleporting, however, you step into the building, and you're immediately greeted by a grisly sight. 2 human bodies wearing security uniforms lie in a pool of blood on the floor in front of the production office. You are, of course, no stranger to death yourself, but it looks as though they were killed before they had a chance to properly react, or even make a sound.
Awesome.
What do you do?
Keep moving.
Patrick, where are you right now?
I was probably going to go try and find Malachi after I left the office. Hustling a little bit, but I'm not used to having a body, so I'm not going fast. I keep trying to walk through doors without opening them.
So you duck out of Alan/Cyrus's office and start moving, and you immediately run into Marlo.
Oh, Marlo! Fancy meeting you here.
Patrick, why do you look like that? Why are you so short and lanky and visible all of a sudden?
I possessed a man's body, ain't it great?
I hope he doesn't need it.
I hope so too. Trust me, I think after the conversation I had with him, I think I'm doing him a favor for the time being.
Well, you might not be terribly safe in that body, by the way. Your buddy, what's his nuts? The twitchy fella I met yesterday.
Oh, Duckhole.
That's the guy. Yeah, he says there are werewolves here. They're after you and your family.
My family?
Yeah, he said something about your family being kidnapped in their own home, something like that.
They're at me home?
I think that's what he said.
Where is Ducko? I need to talk to him.
He's trying to get his way in. I made it here with my wizard powers, but he was trying to find a way. He's trying to hop a fence somewhere. Anyway, I don't know how fast he can move in that body. But is Malachi with you?
Oh, I came here with him. We split up a little bit ago, though. I was just looking for him when I ran into you. Did I know where Malachi? Did you tell me where you were going?
I did mention going to the costume department.
He went to the costume department.
All right, I think I can find it. I'll head to the costume department. You might want to go all ghosty or whatever and find Dako.
Probably a good idea.
I'm gonna head for costuming. I'm assuming there's enough signage I can find it.
After he leaves, though, I'm gonna walk into a bathroom and sit in the bathroom stall as Alan Smithy. I'm gonna write a little note to say call Flora Flaherty and ask about a script, and I'm gonna put it in his pocket before I leave his body.
Mark corruption. All right, let's find the only living people around here, and
Come find me.
if I ever find out that you're around here, maybe we will. But right now,
Oh, I just realized I can spend 1 hold to just be where Dako is.
Oh yeah, you can do that.
yeah.
So I'll do that, but go on with the scene. I'm not important right now.
Marlo, you watch as Patrick vanishes from sight. And with that, you set out to go find Malachi. Malachi, you have arrived at the studio's wardrobe department. It is a large room filled with rows of coats and hats and sewing machines, but unfortunately no people, as it turns out. It seems that most of the wardrobe designers have already gone home for the day. Suddenly you hear a noise behind you, and you turn around and see Abby. She's sort of half peeking out from a rolling coat rack that's filled with these long trench coats like the ones you saw Sterling wear. And she has this sort of worried expression on her face. Mr. Abrams? We're all wrapped here for the day, so it's high time for us all to head home. Did you find everything you needed for your investigation?
It's up and down. Do you mind if I smoke in here, Miss Song?
Well, I suppose it's a free country.
I can see why you might think that. Walk towards her, light up a cigarette.
That's quite close enough, Mr. Abrams. Sorry, just, delicate lungs. Cigarette smoke just, doesn't really agree with me all that well.
I'm gonna roll to figure someone out.
Go for it.
13, holy hell.
Wow.
Perfect roll. It's a shame it's not advanced.
Unfortunately, yeah, but you do get to ask 2 questions free of charge.
Rewording what does your character worry might happen, but, you seem tense, Miss Song. Is something the matter?
Me? Tense? Aw. It was just kind of a stressful shooting day today, that's all. Sorry, I didn't mean to get all snippy with y'all. But as she's saying this, Malachi, you suddenly see her eyes sort of just dart to the right for a split second. It almost looks as though she's looking at something behind the coat rack.
The only other one that seems pertinent to the situation, but I'm fairly certain I know the answer is, who's pulling your strings?
My strings? Mr. Abrams, I assure you I have no idea what you're talking about. Suddenly, Malachi, from behind the coat rack, you hear a clicking sound, almost like the sound of a hammer being pulled back on a revolver. And as you look at the coat rack, your eyes drift down towards the floor, where from behind the row of trench coats, you see a second pair of feet standing close to Abby's. What do you do?
How close am I to her?
Maybe about 20 feet away.
Oh shit.
I'm assuming it's like a hard, like cement floor.
It's like a tile floor.
Tile floor? Right. I'm gonna roll to mislead, distract, or trick.
Okay.
All I want to do is carry on a casual conversation while I remove my shoes.
I think I know where you're going. And am I correct in saying that it's not Abby that you're trying to mislead, distract, or trick?
Yes.
Okay.
11.
Nice.
Okay, so the options on the list are: you create an opportunity, you expose a weakness or flaw, you confuse them for some time, and or you avoid further entanglement. And you get to choose 3 from that list.
Yeah. So I want to create an opportunity.
Okay.
I want to confuse them for some time.
Okay.
No, I want to create an opportunity, avoid further entanglement, and yeah, I suppose we'll stick with confuse them for some time.
Okay. So you're taking off your shoes?
Yes, because now my footsteps won't make a sound.
Okay, as you start to take off your shoes, Abby kind of stares at you for a second. And then as she realizes what you're doing, she kind of just blinks and goes, so tell me more about the investigation so far. Are you, on your way to any breakthroughs, do you reckon?
Well, things are still a little bit gray right now.
I suppose it's like my mama used to say, Rome wasn't built in a day. Actually, that reminds me of a bit of a funny story. You see, when I was growing up as a kid, we didn't get much snow where I lived, but I remember one morning I woke up and it had just come down in sheets the night before, and so of course it fell on me and my brothers to shovel out in front of the house. And
I assume you're waiting for me to interrupt you. I want to tackle her.
Oh shit.
Okay, roll to escape a situation.
Succeed partially with a 7.
So you have to choose 2 from the following list. You suffer harm. You end up in another dangerous situation. You leave something important behind. You owe someone a debt for your escape. Or you give into your base nature and mark corruption. You have to pick 2 of those.
I'm assuming I'm ending up in another dangerous situation, sort of by default. And also I'm going to give into my base nature and mark corruption.
Okay, if you'll indulge me, here's what I think happens. As you're right about to tackle Abby, you suddenly get this flash of, like, psychic premonition that tells you that carrying out this action will result in either you or Abby being shot by the person behind the coat rack. And so this vision is where the giving into your base nature part plays in. So instead what you do as you lunge forward and tackle Abby is you also like grab the coat rack and just sort of tip the whole thing over onto the assailant. And in doing so, you not only take them by surprise, but also bury them in a shit ton of coats as the coat rack comes down so they can't get a clear shot at either of you. As you go down, you see Abby sort of wrestle her hand free from this gnarled, scar-riddled hand that was holding her. And then you both just sort of hit the ground running and scramble out of there as quickly as possible while the gunman struggles with all the coats that's piled on top of him. As you two book it out of the wardrobe room and out into the hallway, Abby says, oh shit, this is wild. This is just like something out of a movie.
It's a good thing I'm parked outside.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
No, my shoes!
I mean, technically speaking, you did leave something behind.
Alright, Kato, back to you.
Yes, get me out of here.
You're in the screening room. You're in a restricted area. You hear the sounds of footsteps approaching. You know that if security catches you, you will most likely be escorted off the premises.
Fuck me.
What do you do?
Okay, so first off, I dive in one of the rows so then I can try to conceal myself so I'm not immediately spotted when whoever the hell it is walks in the room.
Let's call this escape a situation.
Sure. 10.
Okay, great. So you only have to choose one consequence from the list.
I'll just take corruption.
Okay, yeah, you mark corruption, and with your demon instinct, you immediately dive down into the sort of aisle and conceal yourself.
Can I... Oh, this is gonna sound weird, but can I let it out to have some minions out to protect me? Is that a thing?
I mean, if you're going to be using those minions to perform one of the functions listed under Get It Out, like to extend your sentences or frighten the opposition or whatever, then I'd say that, yeah, that could totally function as, like, the fiction of the move in that case.
Okay, I'm gonna roll to let it out. God, don't feel me now. 9? Partially successful?
That's partially successful. You choose one from the list, but you also have to mark another point of corruption.
That's fine. I'll take that. Can I frighten or intimidate or impress your ops? Like, I obviously know I'm not going to go for the impress, but I might be able to frighten the shit out of this person.
Yeah, like get the drop on them sort of thing.
Yeah.
Here's what I think happens. As you drop to the ground, you quickly release a few of your imps, and they immediately scurry off to sort of create a distraction for you. And from your position on the floor, you can't see anything, but you hear the sound of the double doors leading into the screening room open up, followed by a voice. Hello, Kato. Doing a little bit of theater hopping, are we? And you hear footsteps beginning to approach your position. You really didn't expect me to piece it together, did you? Your insistence on me bringing you to the studio? The unmistakable smell of sulfur on your breath? For what it's worth, you certainly made for a convincing femme fatale. Perhaps you should have gone into acting after all. Unfortunately for you, this is where your curtain is destined to... Oh, fuck! And you hear just, like, the sound of just, like, something slamming into a wall as your imps are no doubt, like, swarming all over Sterling, trying to distract him or kind of, like, catch him off his guard, and it sounds like they've succeeded. What do you do?
Oh, God.
It's like someone trying to act all cool and calm, and then they realize they just walked through a spider web.
Exactly. That's exactly how it feels.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go right for the unleash an attack. Like, I'm gonna go full offensive on this.
So,
yeah.
Unleash an attack, roll 2d6 plus blood.
Oh, damn it! I missed!
Ooh, that was like the worst possible roll. Snake eyes.
That was a big 3.
That was a big fucking... Wow.
You jump up, and as you're about to take a shot, you just suddenly see a muzzle flash, and you take a bullet yourself
No!
in your left shoulder. Mark 2 harm.
She has 1 armor.
Yeah, I have 1 armor.
Oh, well, in that case, you take 1 harm.
Alright. Who shot me?
Standing in the doorway of the screening room, you see Sterling White. In one hand, he holds a revolver of his own, the smoking barrel still pointed at you. And in his other hand, you see he's holding up one of your imps, which is just sort of frantically squirming and struggling, trying to escape his grip.
Oh, you bastard.
Well now, It seems you're just full of surprises. And he crushes the imp in his hand, as this, like, thick black ichor just leaks from between his fingers. Now, how about you hand over that gun of yours?
I'll like concede so okay, hold on. So I'll grasp my shoulder, which is now injured and bleeding, and I'll kind of grit my teeth and glare at him and as I slide my gun towards him, but I still stand tall and like kind of like the gunshot doesn't really hurt me. Like I'm playing it off at that, and I just kind of look at him and be like, "So, how long have you been working for Malfast?"
Oh, about 15 years, give or take. Why don't we go for a walk and I can tell you the... And after saying this, he circles around behind you and just starts to search you to make sure you don't have any other concealed weapons on your person.
I really don't think you know who you're messing with, especially with my patron. Malfast is nothing and neither are you.
Okay, it sounds like you're trying to persuade someone on your patron's behalf right now, so go ahead and mark corruption.
Okay, I have 5 corruptions!
Alright, pick a corruption advance.
Oh, what's this? It says fringe benefits. Mark corruption to drop the name of your demonic patron as if you rolled a 10+. You don't have to have a dead on the patron to use the move. Isn't that exactly what I'm doing?
I mean, it's a little bit cyclical if you're using your corruption move to unlock your corruption move, but I think given the context it makes sense, so I'll allow it. So mark another point of corruption, and I'll explain how dropping someone's name works in this game, since I don't think we've done that one yet. On a hit, their name carries weight and gives you an opening or opportunity. On a 10+, which you're treating this as, you keep the dead and mark their faction, so mark wild if you haven't already, but you should have wild marked.
Yeah, because that's my faction.
And that gives you an opening or opportunity. So, from where he's standing behind you, Sterling just suddenly hesitates for a moment and says, "Wait, are we talking patron with a capital P?"
Yeah, and I'm his favorite, so I'd better watch your step if I were you.
Sterling pauses to ponder this new information, and for just a split second in doing so, he lets his guard down. What do you do?
Oh, okay. I immediately twist around, and I just right hook him right across the jaw.
Nice.
Okay. Since you're unarmed, I'll say that this will only deal stun harm, but sure, roll to unleash an attack.
Sweet. Okay, don't fail me now! Okay, 7.
So you successfully stun him with the attack, and you can either inflict terrible harm, which doesn't really apply here, or you can try and take something from him.
I want to take my gun.
But since it's only a partial success, you have to choose a consequence as well. So either he inflicts harm on you, or you find yourself in a bad spot.
Can I build off of the inflicted harm because I already have like a gunshot wound? Can I just make that worse because I've twisted myself out of that? You know what I mean? Like, when you move too much and like you've just made a wound even bigger.
Sure. So I'll say that you punched him with your injured arm, so you take another harm for that, but you do manage to snatch the gun away from him.
Okay, so do I have to mark harm again for that?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now I'm in Grievous.
General Kenobi! Sorry, I had to do it. I'm sorry.
Okay, so now you have his gun. What do you do?
Can I just cock it and kill him?
You can definitely take a shot, yeah.
Yes! Okay, how do I take a shot?
Roll to unleash another attack.
Okay, here we go. Another 7!
Okay, second verse, same as the first. Choose one bonus and one consequence.
Oh god. So I want to inflict terrible harm on this person. And, I don't want to take another harm for myself because I'll be a double Grievous and I'll only have 2 left. How about I just find myself in a bad spot?
Okay, sure. So as you snatch the gun away, Sterling opens his mouth as if he's about to say something, but before he gets the chance, you just blast him right at point blank range, and he hits the floor. And right as this happens, Malachi, that's when you and Abby suddenly round the corner.
Oh, hey. So, what do I see then?
You see Kato with a smoking gun in her hand, standing over the dead body of Sterling White.
Is there a way out of that screening room, Kato?
Not that I saw.
All right, with us then. Keep running.
Okay.
Not so fast.
Oh, fuck.
Sterling rises to his feet, the bullet hole that you put in his forehead already beginning to shrink and seal itself shut. And you watch as Sterling's skin takes on this ashy gray color, like the remnants of an old campfire, and a network of orange, almost crack-like markings begin to spread all over his body. The trench coat he was wearing seems to burn away in an instant, as a pair of large, black feathery wings unfold themselves behind him. Ah, Mr. Detective, how nice of you to join us. And would you look at that? You even brought Abby along with you. My, what an absolute time saver you are. Like his coat, Sterling's hat burns away as two black horns begin to sprout from his forehead. It's just like you said, Detective. Sometimes when you investigate a case, the case is also investigating you. While this is going on, Marlowe, after following the signs, you find yourself at the wardrobe department. But when you arrive, you don't find Malachi, but someone else waiting for you. Dominic Hoffman turns to face you as he hears the sounds of your footsteps approaching, revealing the brand new eye patch he's taken to wearing since your last encounter. And as soon as he sees you, he growls out the words, Marlowe. Right on time. What do you do?
I unleash an attack. I'm shooting him in his fucking face.
Alright, roll for it.
It's a 6. It's a miss.
Ouch, bad luck. You motion to shoot him, but he's just a bit too fast on the draw and gets you instead. You hear a gunshot, followed by searing pain as a bullet grazes your left ear. It was a glancing shot, but you still feel like it did plenty of damage as blood begins to run down the side of your face. You take 2 harm.
Ugh. Ding ding.
Well, it's not exactly eye for an eye, but it's a start. Dominic chuckles as he begins to walk towards you. Tell me, wizard, do you want to know why I let that little half-dragon go after getting the information I needed from him? It's because I knew if he did, he'd lead you straight to me. Now, Alpha might want you alive still, but I'm not here on her orders. You shot me in the face, Marlowe. That makes this personal. And when I'm done with you, your little ghost friend will be next. And he holds up the gun again and points it straight at you. So, any last words?
Yeah, I'm going to teleport again to the farthest end of the hall, the direction I was going, because he came back towards me, right?
Yes.
So I'm just going to teleport around the corner if I can, at the end of the hall towards where I'm supposed to be heading again, because I want to catch up with other people as opposed to getting killed right now.
Okay, since this is technically the same scene as before, I'll say that your hold holds over. So yeah, you spend one of your hold and teleport away. And from your new position from around the corner, you hear Dominic just sort of snarl.
Oh, God fucking damn it!
Yeah.
I forgot he could do that!
And I am heading out of here.
Patrick.
I spent me hold to just be where Daco is.
Okay, you transport yourself to the Bulkhead Studios parking lot, where Daco seems to have, with some difficulty, just hopped the fence. He's actually on his way climbing down as you appear, which kind of startles him and causes him to fall the remaining 2 or 3 feet. Just, ah!
Daco, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, Pat, thank God you're still alive, or, you know what I mean. Listen, we don't have a lot of time here. I saw one of the Strays' cars parked outside while I was circling around. I think Dominic might be here as well. But listen, man, the Strays have your house on lockdown right now. Your sister and your brother-in-law are there, and Alpha's saying that if you don't turn yourself in, they're gonna burn the whole place down and everything inside it. And as he says this, Patrick, you have a sudden realization. Where's your screenplay right now?
It's in the house.
The same house that Alpha is currently threatening to destroy, unless you offer yourself up to her.
So it's almost as if my screenplay is in danger.
Patrick, what happens when your screenplay is in danger?
You know, I think I have a move for that in here. Yep. When my link is in danger, I have access to all of my corruption moves until I see it to safety.
Oh, fuck.
Wow.
Patrick,
Yes.
what do you do?
I think I'm going to try to find Dominic first.
Okay, so you fly off back towards the studio to try and find Dominic. Do you wait for Daco to catch up with you, or do you just sort of leave him in the dust?
Cares about him. The screenplay's in danger.
Malachi and Kato, you two have just been introduced to the demon form of Sterling White. What do you do?
I have a couple of ideas, but I want to see how this plays out.
I want to get Abby the hell out of here is the thing.
Okay, how close are we to the nearest door?
Well, the good news, Kato, is since Sterling moved behind you before you shot him and he transformed, he's no longer blocking your way out of the screening room. At the end of the adjoining hallway are a set of large double doors leading to Studio 1, which is actually the studio space where Sterling toured you around previously.
Okay.
Which doesn't sound like a bad thing to me.
No, it doesn't, because it's an open space and we know that there's doors that we could hide in or just duck out.
Okay, if that's your plan, then both of you roll to escape a situation.
Yeah, it's probably best.
9. Oh, thank God.
Also, partial success.
Hey.
Okay, so a 9 and a 7. So that means that you both escape, but you'll each need to pick 2 things from the list.
So I'm gonna take a corruption and I'm gonna owe Malachi, or I'm gonna owe
You don't
Malachi.
get to choose. I choose who you owe the debt to.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Well, I want to take a debt, and hopefully it goes to Malachi.
I'm gonna mark corruption, because, I mean, oh, wouldn't I? And I'll take harm.
Okay, interesting choices all around. So Sterling, with a flap of his newly formed wings, leaps forward and tries to take a swing at you with one of his clawed hands. But Malachi, as he does this, you suddenly get another flash of precognition, and acting on it, you're able to grab Kato and Abby and sort of hit the deck. However, Sterling still manages to graze your shoulder, and you just feel what feels like red-hot knives just cutting right through your shirt and through your skin, and you take 3 harm. But the initial dodge does give you an opening, so you're all able to book it down the hallway and make it through the double doors back into the studio. As you slam the door shut behind you, you see that the studio space is currently empty, all the lights are turned off, and you're currently standing right outside of the constructed office space that Malachi you saw on your first day of the investigation. What do you do?
Malachi, are you okay?
I'll be fine.
Okay, great. So, is there like a window or something that we can bust open?
I mean, you're on a film set, so the only windows in here are, like, part of the fake buildings that have been built. There is, however, a fire exit at the far end of the room that you can make out even in the dim lighting.
Probably our best bet.
Yep, let's book it.
You know, y'all are acting mighty nonchalant considering what's happening right now. And as the 3 of you book it towards the exit, you hear a roar and the sound of crashing metal telling you that Sterling's not too far behind. What do you do?
Honestly, I really don't see a way out of this. I'm going to go into my demon form and try to fight him off so that Malachi and Abby have a chance to get out of there.
Ooh, it's finally time, is it? Okay, so to assume your demon form, roll 2d6 plus blood.
Trying to channel my inner luck here. 10!
Ooh,
Hey, there
nice.
you go.
Oh, yes!
Okay, so a 10 means that you get to choose 2 abilities that your demon form will have. And since you're currently working a job for your patron, you get 1 more in addition, so 3 total.
Yes!
And you can also mark corruption to bump that up to 4 from the list.
Absolutely bumping it to fucking corruption! Alright.
Okay, so you get to choose 4 of the 5 things on this list. You get an additional armor, so that brings you up to armor plus 2.
Okay, I'm gonna mark that.
You heal 2 harm when you no, you choose. I'm going through the list, and then you get to pick which ones you want.
Yeah.
You heal 2 harm once you transform.
Mm-hmm.
You get to inflict 1 harm on somebody as you transform. You get a demonic weapon of your choosing, which either does 3 harm hand or 2 harm close. Or you get a form of demonic movement, so wings or flaming motorcycle or whatever you so choose. So you get 4 of those 5 things.
I'm definitely gonna take the first 3, so gain armor, heal 2, and inflict 1. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take up that sword option, because that sounds cool.
Okay, this is kind of a big moment, so what I'm thinking is I'm just going to give Kato, like, the narrative floor for a second. Kato, please tell everyone what your transformation looks like.
So as Kato decides, like, so we're running as a group towards the door, presumably, and when we hear that shrieking at the other side of the door and it just sounds menacing, I just kind of slow down my tracks to a stop, and I let Malachi and Abby run a couple paces ahead of me, and I just turn around and I think to myself, I can't be running. Like, I am not a demon for nothing. So, yeah, like, I'm not gonna fucking do this. He's not gonna bully me into this. So, I just kind of focus. I take a kind of a wide stance, and I focus and I look down on my feet, and I'm just trying to breathe in and breathe out. And as I'm breathing in and breathing out, there's like this smell that embellows the air that like of like burning flesh. And it like just smells disgusting, like worse than when Sterling turned into his demon form. Like it just like his smelled like a campfire, mine smells like actual rotting flesh. And so and if Malachi and Abby were to turn around, they would witness that my clothes in a similar fashion are also burning off of my torso, but so is my skin beneath it. And my torso and most of my arms and most of my neck is starting to become exposed, and you can see all the little demon imps climbing in and around my ribcage, almost in excitement that they finally get to be released and cause some damage. And as my skin is melting, the horns are coming out from my skull up and around the base and up the back. And I just kind of take on a different tone of voice, and I just slowly pan up and I look at Sterling from across the room, which I would imagine in my demon eyes I can now see clearly in the dark. And I just grab my blade from like a billowing pocket of smoke near my hip, and I just pull out a blade, and I with one hand, and then I grasp it with both hands, and I just kind of pause for a second. And I'm just hoping to God that Malachi and Abby are nowhere near to see this and or gain the harm from my rotting flesh. It's just kind of like billowing out like a volcano eruption.
You're just literally like throwing your burning like.
Not on purpose. Like it's like I'm just trying to.
You're like so your transformation is less like just sort of like a gradual slowing off of your skin to the ground. It's more like a tomato in a microwave, is what you're telling me.
It's kind of like a mixture of like some of it is running down like but the size of my pants, but others are like just shooting off. Like
there's like a splash zone, is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
Gross, but okay. So as it's just molting, bubbling flesh just explodes off your body, Sterling kind of like puts up his hand sort of reflexively as just this like searing nastiness just sort of like collides with him and like sears his arms, and that kind of like stops him in his tracks for a second there. What do you do?
I take this opportunity and just lunge at him with all of my demon speed. I don't know how fast it is, but I immediately, like in a similar fashion, when one is lunging with a really long blade, it kind of just naturally falls to the other side of your hip. And then when you slice to bring it forward, it's like using your full motion, and you just lean right into it, going as fast as you can. You're just hoping that you hit somewhere on his body, and like the blade is realistically long enough that I think it should, but again, you're the master, so you tell me.
Okay, roll to unleash an attack.
Don't fail me now. 11.
Oh,
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, would you like to inflict terrible harm or take something from him?
Nope, inflict all the harm.
Okay, so after blindsiding him with your initial transformation, you lunge towards Sterling, and reflexively he sort of takes a swipe at you. But with your sword, you're able to successfully parry his attack, and then follow up with an upwards vertical slash, leaving a big, nasty-looking gash along his torso for 4 harm in total.
Yes!
Sterling staggers back for a moment as this sort of molten orange blood begins to seep from his wound and drip to the ground with, like, a sizzle. And then he just looks at you and snarls as he goes back into an offensive stance and says, "Oh, you will pay dearly for that." Meanwhile, all this is happening, Malachi, you notice that Abby has suddenly stopped dead in her tracks as she's looking back and watching this demon battle unfold, and she says, "Okay, wait, so she's a monster too? Alright, that tears it. I am not taking another goddamn step until someone explains to me what's going on right now."
I can explain so much, but we need to get out of here.
Would you like to persuade an NPC?
I would like to persuade an NPC.
Alright, roll with heart.
6.
Oh.
You didn't have any debts on her, did you?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so Abby looks at you, then back to Kato, and she says, "Well, now wait, hang on a second. She's on our side, right? We can't just leave her. What if she needs help? Come on. There's gotta be something we can do." And she immediately sprints the opposite direction directly towards the fray that you were trying to avoid.
Yeah, Jesus.
Marlo, after narrowly evading Dominic, you continue down the hallway and find yourself approaching the Stage 1 area. However, you can tell from the sound of rapidly approaching footsteps behind you that Dominic still has your scent and is closing in as well. What do you do?
So I know shit's going on inside, I can tell.
I mean, it's kind of hard not to know at this point. As you approach the Stage 1 area, the first thing you see is a pair of steel double doors that have seemingly been torn off their hinges and hurled across the hallway, so...
I think he heard him. I heard you describe him smash his way into the room.
Yeah, exactly. And from inside the studio, you can hear the sounds of Kato and Sterling's ongoing struggle, although you don't yet know what that is.
Yeah. And the other guy's coming up behind me. Okay. Well, let's thinky a little bit. Let me see.
While you thinky, Patrick,
Aye.
you also appear on the scene at this time, I think.
Hmm.
As you phase your way through a wall into this hallway, you see Marlo standing near the entrance to the studio on one side, and on the other side, just rounding a corner, you see Dominic. His once combed hair is now wild, and his remaining eye is flashing yellow. It almost looks like he's transitioning halfway between his human and beast forms. Marlo, do you know what you want to do?
Yeah, I was gonna veil, spend a hold, and make myself invisible for a little bit.
Okay, I'll say that you
Try and ambush
use your
him.
veil and disappear right before Dominic rounds the corner, so all he sees is Patrick.
He's a ghost.
As he turns around and sees Patrick, he just immediately snarls and goes, "There you are."
Here I am.
And he lunges for you. Patrick, what do you do?
I'm going to siphon him.
What is your let's let everybody know what your siphon does.
Siphon. Mark corruption to reach into someone's body, inflict 2 armor-piercing harm on them, and heal 1 harm. That's not even a roll. That's just 2 damage.
Okay, wow. That is... Wow. So as Dominic lunges at you in a blind fury, you just hold up your hand and plunge it directly into his chest, stopping him dead in his tracks. And as this happens, Dominic just stares at you for a moment, his mouth agape in surprise, as he lets out a shallow gasp and staggers backwards. He looks like he just had the wind knocked out of him. Marlo, is there anything you want to do to capitalize on this?
Yeah, I'm just gonna get close. I mean, yeah, maybe not shoot through Pat, but still behind-ish, just off to the side.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm gonna get up a little closer and unleash with my gun. 11, holy shit.
Yay! Good job, Marlo.
I
Whoa.
was on a -1, that was a net 12, yeah, jeez.
Okay, so do you want to do extra harm, or do you want to take something from him?
So let's go with the extra harm, which will be 3 harm, because it's a 2 harm, snub-nosed.
Okay, so I think after Patrick staggers him with the siphon, you just drop your invisibility and appear directly behind him with your gun trained directly at the back of his head, point blank. If you want to say something cool, now's your chance.
Give us a one-liner.
Fucking murder hobo doesn't really do one-liners. Fortunately, not really his style.
Have you never seen Hobo with a shotgun?
I probably no, actually I haven't. I really should. I'm probably more the one to grimace and then maybe spit on him afterwards.
Patrick, do you want to say something cool before Marlo kills him?
Yeah, you get the one-liner.
Bad dog.
That's good enough for me. A gunshot rings out through the hallway, and Dominic the werewolf is no more.
Then I spit on him. Shot me in the
Probably
leg.
did.
Okay. Malachi, you were just trying to stop Abby from running directly into the fray. What do you do?
I'll do her a favor.
So she'll owe you a debt?
Yeah, and the favor is going to be getting her the fuck out of here.
You'll thank me later, sort of thing.
Basically, I'll answer any questions you have about everything that's happened the last couple days, but we are leaving right now.
Abby looks on at the fight for a moment and then back at you and says, alright, but I'm holding you to this, you hear? And then she goes with you towards the exit, so you do owe Abby 1 debt now. Meanwhile, Kato, as you're fighting Sterling, he suddenly opens his mouth and just expels this massive gout of flame towards you. Thankfully, your armor will absorb part of the attack, but as this burst of fire hits you, it does knock you backwards. And you crash directly into one of the set's wild walls, causing it to topple over, and you take 2 harm.
Right.
And then Sterling begins to walk towards you, chuckling to himself. The wound on his chest you see is already beginning to seal up and stop bleeding. Human, demon, it makes no difference. Malphas has given me the power to destroy anyone who gets in the way of what I want. I'll reduce you to cinder, just like I did to Cyrus. Just like I did to Hector. And he opens his mouth again, and you can see this orange light emanating from his throat as he's about to shoot another gout of flames at you. When suddenly a sandbag on a rope descends from the ceiling and crashes right between you two, momentarily taking Sterling by surprise. Instinctively, he takes his focus off you for a second and looks up at the rafters to see where it came from. What do?
I use this opportunity to make another lunge, like gather myself and just go for it.
All right, roll to
Unleash an attack.
Unleash an attack.
Okay. 10!
Hey!
Yes!
There it is.
Yes.
Are you going to inflict terrible harm again, or?
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, you bring your sword down on him for another powerful slash across the torso, effectively carving a perfect X across his chest. And Sterling lets out this inhuman howl of pain as his wings unfold, and you watch as he begins to lift off the ground to take advantage of the high ceilings in this studio by flying just out of reach of your attacks. However, as this is happening, Marlowe and Patrick, you can see all this unfolding from your position at the doorway, and if you hustle over, you might be able to make a contribution in this fight if you'd like to. What do?
Can I see, actually, I do know Kato. I know them all, so.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to teleport behind her. No, I don't. Maybe I do. No, I don't. I kind of need that channel, or that hold, so. I'll just run. You said if I run, I'll be there in time, or I can maybe get something in.
Yeah.
I'll follow.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to do to sort of like aid Kato in this situation, either of you, or?
I could use my telekinesis. Can I use my telekinesis to try and trip him?
Go for it.
All right. It's just I can move and lift small objects at the distance by concentrating. Mark corruption to move an object up to the size of a car.
Would you like to move something up to the size of a car?
I mean, like, the sandbag did fall right in front of him, so you could.
I was gonna say, is that like on a rope or something?
Yes.
It was on a rope, but the rope has been severed.
Oh, I was just gonna like coil it around his feet and try to trip him up.
Okay, you can coil the half of the rope that's attached to the sandbag around his feet.
Sure. Is that small object, or do I have to mark corruption for that?
It's small enough, but I will get you to roll to mislead, distract, or trick.
Does this count as distraction?
Yeah,
Yes.
I would say.
Okay. That's a 13.
Nice! Yes.
Okay, so Sterling tries to take off into the air. He suddenly stops as he looks down and realizes that the rope from the sandbag is now tied around his ankle and effectively keeping him anchored to the ground. He sort of sneers in annoyance as you see smoke rising from the rope as his exposed skin actually starts to burn through it. But for now, that does provide you an opening. Marlowe, is there anything you'd like to do?
Well, if I'm close, like within weapon distance, definition close, then I may unleash with my magics.
So you're going to be using your newfound elementalism?
Yeah, that's what I'm.
All right. So you spend one hold, and then roll to unleash an attack.
Yeah, it's gonna be shit. Nope, it's at 11.
Nice.
Another perfect roll.
There you go.
Yeah.
So inflict terrible harm or take something important from them.
Oh yeah, that was another double 6, wasn't it? Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Shit, that's 2 in a row for you.
That's 2 in a row, both on.
And it's 2 in a row.
Useful.
That's ridiculous.
Murder hobo coming in to do all the kill steals.
It's like blood. This is my worst modifier too. Everything else is 0 or up. It's
That's
just-
crazy.
Yeah. Good thing I'm
That's like
rolling
a 1 in
both.
1,200 chance.
So when you attack with elementalism, what does the attack actually look like in that case?
Like a, I don't know, light, but not like wholly light. You know,
Okay.
kind of more like a flashbang, kind of a like a big. I don't know.
So would this be 3 harm close or 2 harm close area?
It's a 3 harm close because I'm only going. through.
Okay.
I don't need to hit multiple things.
Are you inflicting terrible harm or are you taking something important from him?
Can I take his wings?
That'd be
Uh,
sweet.
Count. Could I use it to rip his wings off?
You
I
know
mean, You
what?
did get an 11.
I don't see why not.
Yes.
Am I the presence of Adam? Does it still count as the bonus there? That's only on 12s and above. Shit.
Yeah.
That's on Let It Out,
That's
I think,
Yeah.
not on Unleash.
Right. Damn.
I'm almost sort of imagining that, like, you kind of, like, conjure just, like, a blade of pure light and just sort of, like, swing it across his back and just sever both of his wings in like, a single sort of flourish.
Maybe more the Cyclops X-Men laser beam, but blade of light.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Like,
but
just,
more
like,
of
from your fingertip or from your eyes or something?
from the hand palm area. It's the flashiest thing I have. That's what I was thinking. Flashbang. It is a quick, really bright, and probably loud. It's my one magic thing that draws a lot of attention.
Alright, so as Sterling tries to escape, you all watch as a beam of concentrated light emits from the palm of Marlowe's hand. And as he makes a single horizontal sweeping motion with his arm, there's a bright flash of light, as both of Sterling's wings are severed from his body and he goes crashing to the ground. As Sterling struggles to pick himself up, you see he's suddenly looking a lot worse for wear. The orange glowing cracks that covered his body are now much more dull, and his skin is beginning to flake and peel away into these little ash-colored fragments. And as he struggles to try and pick himself back up again, you hear him say, "No, this isn't right. You can't kill me. I still have so much more I have to do. I'm gonna be a star. They're gonna know my name the world over, just like..." And he trails off as he looks right at you, Cato, or more specifically past you, as if looking at something directly behind you that only he can see. And you see his face just twist into this expression of confusion and anger and malice as he just whispers, "You." Cato, this was your quarry, so would you like to do the coup de grace?
Yes. But can I, is he weakened to the point where I can just suck his soul directly into me?
Sure, if that's what you want. I'm not going to make you roll for this or anything. You've already won the fight, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes. Okay, so then I bend down and I just kind of cup his chin in my hands and I look at him, I kind of get from the glance in his eyes that he can see somebody else behind me, but I'm totally focused and invested in this fucker. And I just kind of look at him and I go, "Oh, darling, you were never going to be a star once you fell all the way to hell." And I kind of like go in for like a kiss on the lips, but I don't really touch his lips. I just kind of inhale like the dark, misty soul coming out of his mouth. And as I'm sucking in, like his skin could potentially go pale or like shrivel up into his skull. And then you can visually see the mist of his soul going down into like where my throat cavity would be and into my chest, and all my other imps are like surrounding it and forming it into one of their own, like another one of them, and it just kind of stays within my cage.
I think that once you pull his soul out through his mouth, his body just completely disintegrates into a pile of ash at your feet.
That's fine. Well, I guess I can erase my debt on that bitch.
My job here is done.
Yeah.
Who is this guy? Who did I shoot? Who did I just hit in the back? Who is this guy?
We rolled. It's like, who was that?
Yeah, that guy was scary. I'm glad he's gone.
Marlo, I'm really glad to see you, but this dude was a bad dude, and I'm thankful for your help.
You've certainly got that right, miss.
Oh God, is that my patron?
No.
Who that?
It's a voice coming from above and behind you.
So I turn around and I look. Who the hell is it?
You see a pale, translucent figure floating in the air above the set, looking down at the three of you. As he sort of lowers himself towards the ground, you see he's wearing what appears to be a nice sort of like formal suit. He's got sort of neatly trimmed hair, manicured fingernails, and a thin pencil mustache. And as he lowers himself to the ground, he sort of clasps his hands together in front of him and takes a short bow, and he's like, "I'm terribly sorry. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Hector Delgado Torero, but you might know me better as Hector Corazon."
Ah! That's Hector Corazon!
Patrick, hold your dick in your pants. Sorry.
It's all right. I'm familiar with. I've met plenty of fans in my life. Perhaps not so many in my afterlife.
Well, you've got one now.
I'm sorry. Do you think that detective fellow has gone too far. I hate to cut and run, but I need to have a word with him.
He's probably just outside the back door.
Thank you very much, miss. And also, I suppose I should thank you for avenging my death.
You're welcome, I guess. I've never had anybody thank me for that, so...
If you ever need to call in a favor from the Los Angeles ghost community, I'd be happy to oblige.
Sure, I'll mark that down. Thank you.
Same goes for the rest of you as well. Although, Patrick, I'm not sure how useful that would be in your case.
Hector Corazon!
Jesus Christ.
Now, if you excuse me, I need to go thank the man who just saved my daughter's life.
Oh, shit!
Oh.
Fucking turn of events.
Malachi, how fast did you peel out of there?
I assume I've started fighting Abby the whole way.
Abby's just like, listen, I know that she's some sort of like weird melty monster thing, but like I seriously think we should go help her out. I mean, I assume she's on our side, right? I mean, she stayed back to fight the other guy.
We can't do anything to help her, though. I want to, but I have nothing.
That's quite all right, sir. Mr. Detective, your help will no longer be necessary. As suddenly the spectral image of Hector Corazon appears directly in front of you. Oh shit. Malachi. That there's the ghost of Hector Corazon, isn't it? Oh gosh, I knew I was right. I knew I wasn't crazy. Mr. Corazon, I'm a fan. I'm oh gosh, I'm oh wow. They say never to meet your heroes. I guess this is why I'm just like I got so many questions, many things.
The song, please take a breath.
Right. I'm sorry. Just there's just so much that I want to say. I want to ask. I don't even know where to begin. That's quite all right, Abigail. There's much for us to discuss. But for now, I'd just like to speak in private with Malachi here for a second, if that's quite all right. Oh, right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course. Take all the time you need. I'll just be standing right over here. And once she's left, Hector looks at you, Malachi, and says, "Well, Mr. Abrams, you found the ghost that was haunting the studio. I suppose this means case closed?"
As long as you're free to move on, I suppose. Though I'm sure so many here would hate to see you go.
Well, I suppose there's a few loose ends that I should probably tie up before I transcend this earthly plane. He looks over at Abby and he's like, "For starters, I should probably explain to her at some point that I'm her biological father. That would probably be a good start."
I suppose that might be the best thing she's ever heard.
I'm not entirely sure how this whole afterlife works, Mr. Malachi. I've been sort of winging it up until this point. In fact, I don't remember much of anything between my death and when I manifested a few days ago, but I think it was a response to her being in danger. So, thank you for helping me to protect her.
It's just what I do.
I guess there's a lot that needs to be discussed with her, and probably a lot of apologies that I owe her mother as well. So, until I settle all of those scores, if you're ever in need of anything, you know where to find me.
Your, was it sister? Sophia?
You saw Sophia?
I did. She was at Cyrus Cole's manor. Was it 2 days after it burned down?
Oh dear.
Earlier today, I think.
I guess that's one more thing to add to the unfinished business list then, when you say.
Suppose so. If there's anything I can do to help, do let me know.
I'll certainly keep that in mind, Mr. Malachi, but if you excuse me, I believe I should have a word with my daughter now.
Certainly. I should go speak with my compatriots inside.
Take care of yourself, Mr. Malachi.
You do the same as much as you can.
Might be a little too late for that, but I appreciate the sentiment. And so you leave Hector and Abby there to talk. Now that I think about it, this is actually the first time you've all been in the same room in the entire campaign so far.
It only took us 3 episodes, but we finally got the party together.
It only took until the finale when we got the party together.
Well, I'm going to suggest we all deserve a nice, hard drink, so I suggest that we all go back to the speakeasy, and the first round's on me.
The werewolf mafia is holding me family hostage. Who wants to help me bust them up?
Yeah, I was
Alright,
gonna
we'll
say
do that
that's
first
probably
and then-
that's what I came here for.
Right, mafia first, then drinks.
We got into and finished up. We got
Malachi walks in, starts lighting a smoke. She's well, guess that's case closed. Werewolf Mafia's got my family. Case open. All right.
Actually, I might be able to help out with that. And the 4 of you turn and see Daco standing in the open doorway to the studio with his hands behind his back.
Oh,
Doco,
boy.
I was just wondering where you were.
While you guys were doing your shoot 'em up routine here, I decided to go back and search Dominic's car, and guess what I found? And he holds up the orb.
Who is this
Here's
person?
regulation
What is that
size.
orb?
It was stashed under one of the seats. Seems like Dami here was trying to pocket the orb for himself without his master knowing. Maybe if I bring it to Alpha as a peace offering, she'll call off her hounds and leave your families alone. It's gotta be worth a shot, right?
Are you sure you want to give that up?
I mean, you know, there'll be other orbs, right? Besides, I still owe you for all your help, so... Thanks, Pat. It's been a slice.
It was my pleasure. I'm gonna give him a kiss, but like a European kiss on the cheek, so he doesn't know if it's
Oh.
romantic. It could just be European.
Ooh.
There's a kiss on both cheeks, but with tongue.
And so, slowly but surely, things began to return to normal. Or at least what passes for normal in the City of Angels. After receiving an anonymous tip, officers of the LAPD arrived at Bulkhead Studios, only to find 2 slain security guards, the director Alan Smithy unconscious, and rising star Sterling White missing in action. Abigail Song, a production assistant at the studio and key witness during the incident, claimed that Sterling White was the one responsible for the fire that killed Cyrus Cole, and fearing suspicion had taken off for parts unknown, killing 2 guards and attacking Smithy during his escape. It was an unusual story, but Smithy was quick to corroborate it as fact. Needless to say, with his missing lead actor now a wanted criminal, Smithy's film Silent as the Grave was put on an indefinite production hiatus. However, the director would later find a strange note in his pocket, instructing him to contact a woman by the name of Flora Flaherty in regards to a brand new script for development. Elsewhere in the city, the strays began to lay low, and those that they had taken hostage while shaken were returned unharmed and allowed to return to their everyday lives. The patron was also quiet for a time, following the completion of a task carried out by his favorite underling. Perhaps somewhere in his black, twisted little heart, even a demon could understand the importance of a paid vacation. Or perhaps more accurately, the mounting war was keeping him preoccupied with sinners elsewhere. But for a brief, fleeting period, things in Los Angeles almost seemed peaceful, and, dare I say it, quiet. From her warehouse headquarters on the docks, atop a handmade throne of wooden crates, the werewolf known as Alpha smiles warmly down at the newest member of her family. So, Dominic believed that he could keep the orb for himself, could he? If that's the case, then I suppose his end was a just one, wouldn't you agree? The man at the foot of her throne says nothing, his face shrouded by darkness. From out of the shadows, wolves begin to circle around him. Well, while Dominic's betrayal is certainly a tragedy, I would say that in losing him I've gained something even greater. My own little pet dragon. Daco steps out of the shadows, the orb still in his hand. Alright. I'm gonna do this on 2 conditions. The first is that you help me to become a real dragon. And the second, I want you to leave the Flaherty family alone from now on. Alpha makes a shooing motion with her hand, and at once all of the wolves disperse back into the shadows. Ah, dear little Daco. As long as you're by my side, I won't harm a single hair on their heads. She smiles as her perfectly whitened teeth practically illuminate the whole warehouse. I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.